Hi, I'm Allecia Maine. I help animals heal their behavior, health, and end-of-life issues naturally. And I assist them in helping their humans heal their hearts. I am the animal healer. Oh, and did I mention, I'm not usually in the room, state, or country that they're located in when we do our sessions. Join me weekly for Animal Healer TV Live as we explore quantum reality and learn just what's possible in helping animals and humans heal their behaviors, health, and hearts through the quantum energy field.
Hey guys, it's Allecia Maine, the Animal Healer, and in this episode, I'm really going to do something a little different. This is going to be a teaching and a training on how much body alignment or misalignment actually affects our animals' behaviors. As you know, through my episodes, I really try to share how much body alignment can affect behavior issues and training and how much it can affect health. And once we help the system realign itself, how much healing can be brought about that will literally shift behavior problems and literally can shift health issues just by getting the body in its proper alignment. So this is a recording that was done prior to a summit that I was involved in called Dog Care on Air. And I think it's just an extraordinary example in a very short amount of time. It's a very powerful education on a really big missing link that we have in both behavior and health issues. And what I have discovered over the last 2 decades is just so powerful about how quickly, simply, and effectively we can help our animals by more deeply understanding what's being affected in their body alignment, or if they have any kind of unrecognized pain that hasn't been diagnosed. So enjoy the episode, and also click the link below. Check out the description. There is a link for a course that I offer. That's a fabulous, simple, easy to work through online course that will literally teach you how to put the power back in your hands to help your animal really address the root of any unrecognized pain or discomfort that may be affecting how they're behaving and also their health. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy.
Do you have a dog that acts aggressively, jumps on counters, is hyperactive? Are you experiencing separation anxiety? Is your dog experiencing separation anxiety? Do you have a dog that was always fine and one day you brought them to the park and all of a sudden out of nowhere they snapped at another dog? I want to share with you something that I discovered as not only as a holistic dog trainer but as a body worker, to help you understand the inside of your dog and why they could be experiencing this issue. And I'm going to show you a really simple technique of what you can do to actually help them move through it pretty quickly right from the comfort of your own home. So who am I? I am a former fitness trainer turned holistic dog trainer. I learned early on about human bodies, how they move, how everything in the body is connected, how when bodies are off balance, you can also have behavior issues or health issues. In 2001, I was in New York City for September 11th, and I decided to immediately move out to Aspen, Colorado, and become a holistic dog trainer. What I have found from my experience of working with dogs on a one-on-one basis for a long time, and having studied with a Chinese energy master and Qigong master in New York City before I came out to Colorado, is that our dogs' bodies are very intimately connected with their behaviors. And oftentimes, their behaviors are not necessarily the result of just an independent thing happening. They're actually a result because the body is off balance somewhere. It's experiencing some kind of discomfort that we haven't recognized. Now, understand that a dog does not necessarily have to be in the kind of pain where they need to go to see the veterinarian in order for them to be experiencing a discomfort. Sometimes we just might not recognize what's happening in their system because they look pretty normal, you know? For the most part, they're up, they're moving around, they're running around, but we don't always necessarily see, and we haven't necessarily been taught to see, like maybe the dog's shoulders are off balance just a little bit. Or maybe there's an area in the ribs where the muscles are really tight, and it's not so much of a big deal if they're running around, but if another dog came in at the side, all of a sudden a dog that may not have been reactive before, all of a sudden says, hey, stay out of that spot. So we could see it as aggression, and it might be a behavior to let the other dog know, stay out of my space, but it might not, the root cause of it might not actually be the aggression itself. So over a lot of years of understanding meridian systems through traditional Chinese medicine and the 5-element theory of traditional Chinese medicine, I started applying the same types of assessments to the dogs. And what I started finding actually really shocked me, because I would have had no idea, and I've taken many dog training classes with my own dogs, but I've never heard a trainer actually talk about how bodies are intimately connected with behaviors. And certainly over 20 years of having dogs, nobody showed me what I could do, and nobody pointed out to me that the root cause of my dog's behavior might actually be because what was going on inside. So I started to study canine anatomy for a long time. And I started to understand, you know, maybe the same things that go on with us humans. You know, if you've ever had like a tight back or your neck is tight and it kind of makes you a little grumpy. Well, is it possible that our dogs could actually be experiencing the same things? So based on a hunch, because I also do animal communication work, I had a dog, my own golden retriever, showed me one day that in order to be able to help behavior issues, it's really, really important to be able to take some kind of assessment and look at, is my dog experiencing unrecognized pain? So what he suggested to me was, there is, in traditional Chinese medicine, they have a chart, and that chart lays out alarm points along the back, and those alarm points are actually connected to organs and to nerves and to bones inside the body. So he had had a Frisbee injury, which unfortunately he landed literally straight down on his spine. And when part of the rehab of me helping him is when he suggested to check out these alarm points. So I just, not having studied it so closely for the human body, but understanding the alarm points, he said, take your fingers and just put them about 1 inch off the side of the neck. Well, when I started to do that and I started to go down the body, what I started to realize was, wait a second here, this is giving me a really clear indication of what could be going on inside the dog's body. Because a lot of people and a lot of my clients have said, well, I massage my dog, but massage is usually not on these alarm points, it's usually off to the side. So when I started doing the alarm points, I started noticing sometimes the dog's back would twitch, sometimes their head would turn to the side, sometimes their eyes would slowly start to blink. And I knew that going down the back this way, it was giving me a much better idea of actually what was really happening inside the dog, instead of just looking at their behavior, which is an outer exhibition of what was happening. I actually got to ask the dog's body, so what really is happening? And when I started to recognize that the dogs will start to show you, like as I'm here on this part of Coda's back, he just yawned. So that's a place where he was holding stress. Now, if he's holding too much of that stress, as I mentioned, if a dog comes in and Coda's sensitive to this area, what Coda will probably do is get that dog to back off really quickly because he doesn't want a dog knowing he's got a sensitivity here. Now, I'm not even pressing in, and you can see that Coda's got a whole series of releases going on, which is going to help him because his background, he came literally straight off the reservation. I picked him up on the side of the road. He had no collar on him, and I don't really think anybody was looking for him. So he had a lot of issues with aggression with other dogs, more than anything just to protect himself. So when I know that Coda has tightness in his back, I know he's more prone that if another dog approaches him in the wrong way, that he's gonna let them know pretty quickly and it's gonna look like aggression. But if I can help him by releasing some of that tension before he even goes out to the park, then what starts to happen is his behavior gets better, the other dogs aren't as offensive to him, and now I've completely kind of alleviated a potential training problem just by working on Coda's back. And then he actually becomes happier in and of himself. And don't we all want a happy dog? So this is a case where we can look at it from a behavioral standpoint, but doing these assessments, so just taking your thumb and your index finger, softening your shoulder, softening your elbow, starting at the top of the head and just coming down 1.5 inches at each point. Not only is it good to help us with transforming the actual root of behavior issues, it's also preventative health. Because if you think about it, if you understand Chinese medicine at all, or just understand that energy flows through the body, if there's areas where the energy is not flowing, what literally lands up happening too is it can be blocking the inner energy, and that's really more the root cause of most diseases. So we can prevent them before they get worse in our animals. I have used this assessment on a lot of my clients for behavior issues. I've used it for health issues. I've used it to assess lots of rescue dogs, which is amazing because most of the time we don't know the background on the rescue dogs or the shelter dogs. And so we can see certain things in front of us happening, but it doesn't mean we really understand the root cause. So I found that when we go through the body and we do this simple assessment, we can get a much clearer idea of what's going on with that dog, for that dog, and also we can help prevent and basically kind of sometimes eliminate the real root of why the behavior issue was actually happening in the first place. So as you can see here, like I'm at the base of Coda's tail. So he's got a little tightness on his right side, not much, but the benefits of having him in a calm, relaxed state before I even go to train him, and the benefits of knowing what he's actually got going on, instead of me having to just look at his behaviors, of me being able to see what's happening in his body first. I actually love that because it gives me, especially when I'm working with new clients, it lets me reset like what the actual baseline for the dog is. So when I go into clients' homes and I'm listening to all of the things that they're sharing with me of the behavior issues of what's going on with their dog and they don't understand why, or we're starting to train a new puppy, I always do a body assessment before I ever start training, because what I found with bodies also, think about it from our standpoint. If you've ever had an injury, the first thing you do when you get injured is you freeze, you hold your breath. So if you're holding your breath, the next thing that happens is you will still be able to move. You will still be able to get back into the flow of things, but you will do so with your body and your being more in your sympathetic nervous system than your parasympathetic. Now, sympathetic relies more on fight or flight, being really aware of what's around you, but more in a closer proximity. When we get down into our parasympathetic breathing, which is our belly breathing, then what happens is we can in a calmer way, we have a much bigger field of vision, almost as if we kind of got 360-degree vision. And the same thing happens with our dogs, you know? Think about it. They're at the park, they're tumbling, they're playing, they're puppies, they're running around. They're not as concerned with their bodies, they just want to be having fun. So when we don't know that this is actually what's taking place in our dog's body, but then we try to correct the behavior without understanding what's actually happening first in the body, I've found that in a lot of cases, we're kind of doing some disservice to our dogs. And this is why I call it the missing link in dog training. It's not anything new on the moving behavioral science piece, but it actually should become the foundation of everything that we do with our dogs. Because when we know that our dog's body's kind of like static free, you know, and there's no interference going on in the nervous system because the back points are all open, we have a dog that's calm, that's clear, that's able to pay attention, that's able to learn more easily. And when there's still interference going on, that's sometimes why we need to introduce treats to sort of get them more centered. But what I have found over the last 20 years is that when you have dogs that are really centered and relaxed in their bodies, they pay attention really well. They're very clear. And we know we're not doing a disservice to them because we're leaving the tension and the tightness inside the body. We're just overriding it. We're actually giving them a clean slate and a clear space to be with us, to be within themselves. And from my practice, and I've done the assessment on over 700 dogs, I have been blown away by how fast behaviors change just simply because the body got relaxed and the brain got relaxed and the dogs take a deep breath and they can be fully present. So if any of this is resonating with you, if it's really, really making sense about how deeply connected bodies are with behaviors, I'm going to move Coda up here one more time, and I'm going to show you real simple. Index finger and thumb about 1.5 inches, 2 inches apart. Let's go right onto the side of the spine. We never go directly down the spine. We don't want to push on the spine, but there are muscles on the sides of the spine that we just kind of want to test out and see if they're creating any issues. So we're just going down 1.5 inches. And we're not going really hard. Just imagine that you've touched muscle and you're just gently pressing into muscle. And every 1.5 inches that you go down, you'll see from your dogs don't lie. So you will literally see right there, that's a spot for Coda, okay? It's a little tight, so I'll go soft and gentle. But when I know that that's an issue for Coda, okay, and when I know I can help him release that stress, then I know that I have a safer dog to be able to walk or to go to the dog park. What's the matter? You okay? There you go, buddy. Okay. And again, these are just so simple. It's so light. Do not drive your fingers deep into your dog's back just in case they are really tight. You do not want your dog massively reacting. You can do the assessment 2 to 3 or 4 times, but start out gently, go down the back, pay attention to your dog's eyes, pay attention to your dog's ears. You want them to be comfortable, but you also want to be able to clearly know exactly where they're having issues. Stay here, bub. Okay. There we go. Okay. So try this with your dogs at least once a week. If you know that they've had a really extensive exercise, or you know that you've gone, you saw them at the park and they maybe tumbled or banged into another dog, make sure that you do this to keep them safe, to keep them healthy, to keep their energy flowing, and to bridge that missing link in dog training between bodies and behaviors. So if you're interested in learning more about the InSync body assessment protocol or muscle release techniques, you can contact me at www.animalhealer.com. I wish you and your dogs a really healthy day.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Animal Healer TV. We hope you enjoyed it. We'd love to hear your feedback on what you learned about yourselves and your animals. We'd also love to hear what issues are you dealing with that you'd most like to see on the show. If you'd like to participate in an episode, please see the link below and share with us the issues that you're having with your animals. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Insta, and please feel free to share with your friends. Join us next week for another episode of Animal Healer TV, where we will explore quantum reality and see what else is possible in helping animals and humans heal their behaviors, their health, and each other's hearts.